Many different functions within a company depend on the reports that come out of your accounting system. So it's important to be able to give the right people access to those reports. However, it might be just as important to be able to restrict their access to other information that they shouldn't be seeing. And even if they do have access to a report, it might be important to restrict them to only being able to see certain information on that report, such as just being able to view the financial information for a particular location. If you need that kind of control within your reporting system, that is where you will begin to set up CenterPoint Reporting User Group Security. In order to use that type of security on the reports, you'll first need to set up database security in CenterPoint. So you're going to go through all of the options to set up your database security. So underneath File and Preferences, you'll go ahead and you'll turn on database security underneath the security preference on the database tab, and you'll set up a password for the administrator user. Then you'll log in as the administrator, and you can tell I'm logged in as the administrator because at the bottom left of my screen it says User Administrator. Then underneath File and Security, you'll want to set up your password security options, create your database users, organize your database users into user groups that will have like permissions within the system, and then establish security policies for what items those different user groups can have access to. After that, then you can establish your reporting security. So you'll want to view the videos on setting up all of your other security options in order to get that part done first. Then once you've gone ahead and you've set up all of your other security, you're going to log in as the administrator. Again, I'm logged in as the administrator, and we can see that on the bottom left. The administrator then can go to Reports and open up whatever report he's wanting to restrict access to. So you can highlight it and then right-click on it and go to the option for security. Now you're only going to have that option if you're logged in as an administrator. So we've established a number of different security groups within our organization, and you can see here that I have different AP ones, and that's because I have different companies within my database. And I have certain users who work with one company and not the other. So that's going to be something I want to do, is to be able to restrict their access to the reports of only the company that they are working with. Okay, so when I am looking at a report, I want to consider all of my user groups and whether or not they should have access to it. Well, my administrators, I really don't care whether they have access to it. So I've gone ahead and set them up having access, so my AP administrators. My AR department, though, I don't want to see have them be able to view those AP reports or any reports having to do with AP. So I've gone ahead and for all of my groups that have to do with accounts receivable, I've marked it as restricting access, so they can't preview or print any of those reports. But for my accounts payable groups, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my CenterPoint Farms account payable group, and instead of restricting total access to the report, something that I would like to do is restrict their access to a particular company. So in the report selections section, there are a number of different things that I can use to restrict their access. I can restrict it to certain dates, certain locations, certain profit centers. In this case, I want to go ahead and restrict them to particular companies. So those people working for the CenterPoint Farms AP department are going to be restricted to viewing the information for only one company. So I've checked that box. And then over in the box over here, I've moved over to the right-hand side CenterPoint Farms so that that'll be the company that they're restricted. They're restricted from seeing CenterPoint Orchard. They'll be able to see CenterPoint Farm. Likewise, there's multiple bank accounts for that company, and I really don't need them to be in the other bank accounts other than the checking account. So I've said that I also want to restrict them to a particular bank account. And so I've selected that, and I've moved over the bank account that they should have access to on the right-hand side. And I'm going to click OK for that. Once I've set all of my parameters for that group, I can click Apply, and then it'll save those parameters. I'm going to click OK, which is also like the Apply, but it actually has me exit the screen then. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in as a user of that CenterPoint AP group, and we'll see how their access is restricted. So I'm going to go to File and Open, and I'm going to go ahead and log in as a different user that I know is a member of that group. And then I'll go to Reports, and I'm going to open up that report and highlight it. And as I'm highlighting it over on the right-hand side, you'll see the different filter selections. And I can't filter for anything other than the one company I said they had access to. So it's grayed out, and it's, oops, I didn't mean to select that. It's grayed out, and you can't select a different company. And the same thing with the bank account. You can't select a different bank account. However, the payee that I had accidentally selected there, I can go ahead and filter for different payees because I didn't limit that to just one or two different payees. So that's what it would look like if they had restrictions in place on a report. And you'll want to make sure that you repeat that for all of the reports that you need to restrict access for.